welcome all of us, all of the visitors, all of the delegates who are attending this inauguration function of 11th Asian Metallurgy. And I am very happy to tell you that we have got visitors with us. We have Mr. V.R. Sharma, Vice Chairman of Jindal Steel and Power Group. Earlier, for a lot of years, he was MD, but now he is having a more bigger role and more larger role in the group. Welcome, Mr. Sharma, and you are always. Thank you very much for sparing time for us, and thank you very much for. We have Mr. Vinit Jain is President of Institute of Indian. Mr. Vinit Jain, thank you very much for sparing your time, and we would like to hear from you the foundry industry in the country and also global. And we have with us Mr. Sayan Sen. Sayan Sen is the DGM at Joint Plan Committee for many years, and he is the person who is compiling all the statistics of Indian steel industry and making it accessible to the industry so that the industry can take the best of the decisions for their future. Thank you very much, Sayan, for being with us. And we would like to know from you the status, the actual statistical status of Indian steel industry in the country. So, with these words, I would like to just say a few words about Asian Metallurgy. That, as you know, Asian Metallurgy has been existing for a lot of years. We started with in 1997, and earlier we were in Nehru Center. Then we shifted to Goregaon. Obviously, coupled with the exhibition and a conference. But now after COVID, a lot of changes have taken place in the industry. Industry is moving fast towards digitalization, and digitalization has got more and more acceptability in the industry. So taking all this into consideration, we have taken a decision to go completely on digital platform. On all our shows are including conferences and exhibitions are now on digital platform. This is the second time we are having digital exhibition along with the conference which is called as 11th and Steel and Metal Expo. One part will be the exhibition. There are around 40-50 stands there in the exhibition. And another part is daily blog about various subjects related to metallurgical industry, both ferrous as well as non-ferrous. So today we are having inauguration session in the morning. In the second half, we are having a session on digitalization. Digitalization, the new driver for the metallurgical industry. Tomorrow we are having a steel day where we will discuss green steel technology, and we will also discuss the status of steel projects in India. Day after tomorrow, we have got foundry. Mr. Jain, it will be quite interesting for you. We will be discussing the foundry in the country, where we have got all these panel discussions. We have got experts from the industry, and we will discuss this subject at length. So we welcome all the dignitaries which have spared their time and have come for this inauguration session. And first, I would like to start from Mr. Sayan with his few words and about he can also brief us about the role of JPC in the Indian steel in the context of Indian steel industry. Mr. Sayan Sen.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chandekar. I mean, and a huge round of applause for bringing Asian Metallurgy back to our desktop, so to speak. And it's a great pleasure to to be back once again in this forum. As you requested, I think we have been through the worst of all times, and we are on the phase of bouncing back. There are, of course, strong headwinds from various sides. Am I audible?
Yes, obviously.
As I said, there are always, as has been, strong headwinds from all sides, but industry has been doing fine. There are, of course, hiccups here, there, everywhere, but then we have been on a very stable footing. The data that we collect on a regular basis, steel data from the steel players as well as from the market for price, that I think most of you are well aware of. So that data has shown that in April-October period, there has been nearly an 11% rise in steel consumption. So that has been projected by many people to forecast days ahead. But I would, recommend not to go for any numbers in the forecast game right now, because things are still very uncertain, especially if you take a global scenario where there is uncertainty with a capital U, if I may say so. So for the time being, I'll be contented with the fact that, yes, we have been through the bad times, the worst times are behind us, and we have been doing fine as far as data collection has been going on. And we have been through many reports in the interim time. Our data collection, data process management system has not stopped because of the COVID or Jobi Bolo. I mean, the hurdles that have been thrown up, work from home. And that process has gone on. We have been reporting regularly to Ministry of Steel and other stakeholders. We have come out with the regular reports, and we have come out with 2 special reports also in recent times. One is on the Directory of Steel Industry, which featuring and listing out all the steel players who are in the country, segment-wise, state-wise, district-wise. And the other we have come out very recently is a survey report on the Indian steel rerolling sector. And that has also detailed we had done it with association with ISRA and SRMA. And that had detailed the issues facing the steel rerolling sector, the statistics, the facilities that the units have, and has rounded off with a detailed analysis on the rerolling sector. Next in line is coming up, it is almost halfway through, is a similar report on the induction furnace sector, which again has gone through many ups and downs in recent times. Though India, as I am very proud to say, has retained its status as the second largest crude steel producer in the world, but there's a long way to go. And I am sure aage jaake bhi this our data collection system and data processing system will continue to reflect these ups and downs and these pathway through which industry is going and slated to go in the coming days. And I'm sure the stakeholders who actually use our data, they would continue to benefit from the JPC data. And I would always recommend, just don't go by your data. Come and interact with us. Come and know the industry. So that would, be a two-way process of interaction where we would also get to be enlightened about what is going on, and you will also be enlightened about, as you just said, to tell us about the role of JPC and data system. So they would also get to know about the intricacies of the data, how it is collected, how they can also be a player in the whole JPC system. So with that, I'll let the mic back to you, so that the process can continue at your end.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jain. I just wanted to ask you one question. So, doing extrapolation of of your data, what do you expect in short term and long term basis for India, especially Indian steel?
Short term, I'll only go for short term because, as I said, the whole scenario is plagued with uncertainty right now. So it's only a short term. Yes, there would be hiccups in the short term also, but then at least short term, I'm taking as a 6 months drive. So that would be, with the budgetary process already kickstarted and there are n number of policy measures that has already been implemented. I'm sure steel consumption for this fiscal at least would be 7% around. So that in itself would be a huge profit for the Indian steel industry to at least to meet this demand drive. So there would be a demand-led supply drive as well. Exports would, I think, there are chances of picking up now that the export duty has gone off. But then much would depend on the takers for that export, given the global uncertainty that is all around us. And imports are always right now on a stable level. I mean, also declining. So that won't be a problem. But then if demand goes up multifold, then there might be a rush in imports as well to meet the demand, provided the supply side is not adequately fit. But I don't think there is any problem with the supply side per se. So, and as I always believe that rise in imports per se is not a problem or critical area as such, but then you need to monitor what is actually coming inside your country and the quality level at least and the prices. So that would have always an effect on domestic prices as well. So for the time being, for a 6 months projection or 6 months time frame ahead of us, I would say that yes, steel consumption would be on a stable and strong footing, and the economy is already on a very good system set up right now. And the policy push that is already there and going to come up in the budgetary process of some of which you are already reading, some of which we are already in the know of because of our involvement in the budgetary process with the Ministry of Steel. So there would again be a budgetary push or a policy push that would propel the industry for the next 6 months ahead of us. And so let us see. We are keeping fingers crossed that may the best man win. Up to you.
Yeah, you would like to comment on price, Sam?
Sorry?
Would you like to comment on price trend?
Price is again, price would stabilize, as you well know. Price is demand supply based and some policy push in the domestic market. Prices are now on the path of, I won't say huge recovery, but then it is stable right now. We don't see any kind of major ups and downs in the prices. They are starting to stabilize, and they would stabilize. The only point would be the global scenario. Once again, there are trends of recession. There are signs of geopolitical uncertainty still going on. There is China with a big uncertainty aspect to it. So there are issues which might bounce back and have an impact on domestic prices. But as far as the domestic system is concerned, we don't see any kind of major impact issues that might upset the whole demand supply and price story. So I think prices would stabilize and would be in commensurate with the demand supply, domestic demand supply scenario that is going to kickstart in the next 6 months, I would say. Up to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Neil. It's always a pleasure to interact with you. And as I said earlier, JPC is the final custodian of the statistics of Indian steel sector, and they know how the steel industry is going to behave in the future. They can predict about their tools, statistical tools, of course. So thank you very much, Mr. Sayan. Now we move on to our next dignitary, and I would like to request Mr. Vinit Jain, President of Institute of Indian, to say a few words. Foundry industry of late, we have a perception that it is doing very well because its main customer, auto industry, is doing well. Even the exports I am told, exports are on the rise. So we would like to hear from Mr. Jain the exact status and the future projections and the future prospects for the foundry industry. Over to Mr. Jain.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chandekar ji. Dear Mr. V.R. Sharma ji, Mr. Sayan Sen ji, and all the participants. First of all, a very good morning to all of you. I would also like to thank Metalworld for organizing this event and inviting me. Yeah, please excuse me for my bad throat. I have some infection from since last 3-4 days. So the Indian Metallurgy is being organized at a very opportune time, especially in view of the fact that metallurgical fraternity worldwide is facing a very challenging situations. First, because of the pandemic, which caused a huge loss of human lives, as well as for the economy's losses. And when the world was trying to emerge out of the pandemic, another disaster in the name of Russia-Ukraine war struck the global economy badly, disrupting the global supply chain. And this also has a huge negative impact on our foundry industry. We all would agree that to make our industry a country, a 5 trillion USD economy, our ecosystem would have to play a major role. And for that, all stakeholders need to come together and join hands. In my opinion, if we want to analyze the health of any economy, then we have to see whether its metal industry is growing or not. And if growing, then at what rate? Because being a mother industry, if metal industry is performing well, then the economy is also performing well. If we talk about the current foundry industry situation, then currently we are seeing a good demand from the commercial vehicle sector as well as from the earth movers. Demand from the tractor industry is a little bit low, but it is expected to grow in the coming months. Demand from the export market is also on the positive side, and it's expected to grow further. If we talk about the raw material prices, then it's somewhat stagnant now. So in order to help the Indian metal industry, especially the foundry industry, the Institute of Indian Foundrymen, also known as the IAF, which is a pan-India industry association of foundry industry, will be conducting its flagship mega event, the Indian Foundry Congress, as well as the Indian Foundry and Exhibition Expo, during the 8th and 9th and 10th of February at the Indian Expo Mart, Greater Noida. So we at the Institute of Indian Foundrymen highly encourage uses of technologies, innovations to build a strong and sustainable business pathways. I would like to take this opportunity to share that IF also is committed to help achieve the sustainable development growth goal. So I would request and urge you all to come and join hands to strengthen our ecosystem and build India as a superpower. So before I conclude, I would like to thank once again for organizing this Asian Metallurgy and giving me the opportunity to be a part of it. And I wish the program a grand success and all the participants a very good learning experience. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Mr. Chandekar ji. I think you are muted. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Chandekar.
Yes, yes. Now I'm audible, I think. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it was a pleasure hearing that foundry industry is looking forward to a bright future. And of course, we
Yes.
know IFEX is being organized for many, many years. And it is one of the most successful shows in the country related to metallurgy. And it is always a pleasure to visit IFEX and see new technologies and new processes and new products. So yes, we will be there at Noida. And
Sure. Most welcome.
pleasure to interact with you, Mr. Jain. Thank you very much for your inputs regarding foundry industry. And
Thank
yes,
you.
foundry, actually, as you rightly said, metallurgy is the mother of all industries. You cannot expect any industry without metallurgy and without steel and metals. And
Yeah.
in metallurgical industry also, I would say foundry, the castings are the basis of all industries. You cannot even expect any industry without casting. Even the
Definitely.
steel rolling mills, you cannot expect without casting. There are a lot of castings in steel rolling mills also. So
Yes.
casting is really a very ancient business also, foundry, and it is very important also. Anyway, thank you very much for your for coming here and sparing your time, Mr. Jain. And now
Thank
we
you, sir.
move to Mr. V.R. Sharma. Mr. Sharma has been in the helm of affairs of not only JSPL, but I would like to say that the whole steel industries, the steel fraternity, is considered as a veteran in the industry, and Mr. Sharma has been the guiding force before the industry and guiding the industry throughout for lot of years. So I would now request Mr. Sharma to say a few words about the steel industry. People are eager to hear from him which way the industry is going to go, what will be the effect of Ukraine-Russia war. Are we looking forward for a bright future? We have all questions, Mr. Sharma, and over to you. We are eager to hear you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chandekar ji. Good morning, Vinit ji. Good morning, Mr. Sen. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a good time, good platform. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Chandekar and Asian Metallurgy. This is the conference which is connecting all of us together. And rightly said by you, it is a digital platform. We are meeting through Zoom. This is the right way of meeting people with each other instead of going to different cities and meeting face to face or in person. So, the government of India is now working on digital currency. So when we can work on digital currency, that means the country's mindset is completely digitized, and we can definitely work, we can definitely interact through digital platforms as of Zoom or Team or any other video conferences. So congratulations to Chandekar ji. You have been doing a great job in connecting people from one corner of the country to another corner. So this is not a small job, it is a very big job, because we exchange ideas, we exchange views. We come to know about data, we come to know data by JPC, by Government of India, and we come to know data about different companies. And finally, we make up our mind and we draw a line for the way forward. So overall, the time is good, no problem. Country has shown a growth of about 10% in consumption. Exports are down. By more than 50%. Imports are up by about 22%. So this is I would not say a bad sign. It's a good sign. That means consumption is going up. So overall, there's a change in production. It used to be, if you compare with the last April, November, as per the data declared by JPC, it was about at 73 million, and now it is about 77 million. So there is a growth of about 6 to 6.4%. This is a good growth. But overall, if you see, the net growth, net consumption has increased by 2.5 to 3%, and this is a good sign. It's not a bad sign in current situation. As far as the ecosystem is concerned, I congratulate Mr. Vinit, who has touched this subject. Ecosystem is very much important for the nation, and sooner we take a transit from blast furnaces or induction furnaces to the right technology like electric arc furnace, not the coal-based sponge iron, but on the basis of gas-based sponge iron, that will be better for the nation. Though we have time till 2070, but we should try to become a net zero carbon emitting country by 2050, or the Prime Minister's target is 2047 internal target, though we have taken target internationally up to 2070. So 2070 is 48 years from now. So there will be 2 generations of the steel fraternity. They will be completing their life cycle. So similarly, we have to see that in this, if you say 24 years, one life cycle, actual, the real working life cycle of a person, and so is the plant and equipment, then I think by 2047, we should stop all the blast furnaces and the coke ovens and sinter plants from the country. So this is a big challenge. We are working in various parts of the world as Mr. Naveen Jindal Group, but not as JSPL. Mr. Naveen Jindal is owning a plant in Oman, that is in his family company, that is Vulcan Engineering. And yesterday, I'm in Oman now. Yesterday, we have declared a world's first green energy-based plant, that is flat steel project, 5 million ton capacity in Dukkam. You may see on Bloomberg or internet or YouTube, you'll find the glimpse of this project, which is likely to come. This is not part of JSPL. This is part of the family company of Mr. Naveen Jindal. So this project is likely to come in Dukkam. The plan is by 2028, we should commission this plant. Government of Oman is going to give us hydrogen over the fence. Over the fence means it is not the responsibility of steel industry to produce hydrogen. It's very difficult. When we speak in India on hydrogen, green energy, and then using hydrogen into DRI plants, then it comes on steel industry as such that the steel industry has to do all the expenses. So this is very difficult because today major steel mills, as a thumb rule, they spend about $1 billion on 1 million ton of steel. So if somebody is asked to produce first the green energy, either through solar or through wind, because hydroelectricity is very, very limited, then and then produce hydrogen, and then also put up a plant based on hydrogen, then this is going to be about $2.5 to $3 billion per million ton of steel, which is about 3 times of the cost of putting a steel plant based on electric arc furnaces standalone or based on blast furnaces. So no steel company today, in my view, is in a position to spend capex at the rate of 2.5 billion, that is about say 20,000 crore, to produce 1 million ton of steel. This is impossible, and the steel will not be cost effective, and neither the cost effective nor the banks will extend the funds or the capex to any steel industry. And steel industry does not have that much of funds available as reserves available that they can spend so much of money to produce steel, which will consume about $2.5 to $3 billion. So we have to ponder upon what is to be done. I think the companies, the private sector companies or the multinational companies, or through the FDI sector, we have to bring in the country. We have to see that somebody comes and produces green power, and the other company comes and they produce hydrogen, and they supply hydrogen and green power over the fence to the steel industry. Then only the complete ecosystem can be balanced. Otherwise, we'll be keep talking, but this will not happen because it needs a lot of money. And unless there is a support from Government of India or any government in the world, this cannot happen. Oman is a very small country. They have understood this, and they are putting a green hydrogen, a green energy and green hydrogen plant. They are putting a complete solar system. They are putting wind energy system, supported by, of course, the national grid. And finally, they will be supplying at least 14 hours a day the green energy to any steel mill or any aluminum plant or metal industry, which is likely to be installed in this country. So we have our Mr. Jindal. He has declared in his different company, not in JSPL, this project yesterday, 5 million ton hot strip mill and downstream facilities like cold rolled, galvanized, electro galvanized, and finally the product will be used in making components for the auto industries, and finally also for the exposed panels for anywhere in the world. And these will be coated exposed panels, because it is unlike India. India, they use black cold rolled steel to produce cars, but here in Europe, Australia, Canada, America, and any other part of the world, they are using either electro galvanized or galvanized material even for the exposed panels. So this is likely to be a great path-breaking industry for this country, and this plant is coming on the port, and we are aiming that up to steel making, we should have a carbon footprint of about maximum 0.5 ton of CO2 per ton of steel making, and then the downstream may take another 0.2, total 0.7, as against of 2.6, 2.7 ton of CO2 per ton of steel making today in India. And in Europe, blast furnaces are about 2.2 ton per ton of steel. Japan also 2.2. With the electric arc furnaces, people are today based on the natural gas power. They are at a level about 1.8, 1.85 ton of CO2 per ton of steel making. And this will be with the green, it will be less than 0.7 till the final products, and only steel making will be less than 0.5. In some of the cases, it may be as low as 0.2. So this is going to support the complete ecosystem, as Mr. Vinit Jain took up this point. That's why I thought, let me elaborate what we are doing and what should we do. In times to come, we all will have to see that the steel production should reduce. It should not go up. It is very highly unlikely that a person from the steel fraternity is advocating that the steel production should be reduced. Yes, I will advocate that we should consume less in terms of tonnage. So we have to produce products which are really value engineered products. We don't have to compromise on our demand. So our demand will be increasing in terms of kilometers, length, width of the material, but the tonnage will go down. And that time it has already come. We are working with some of the universities in Germany and at JSPL, we are working with them, and we are working how to reduce the weight of steel. Like for example, if you produce, I'm giving a very rough example of API grade. API used to be API 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 in previous times, and today we are already supplying API X70, X80, and now we are working on X120. The moment we go to 120, the total weight of the pipe for a particular diameter comes down to only 28 to 30%. That means the thickness is reduced from 28 millimeters to 9 millimeters or 10 millimeters. So this is the time which is going to come in future. So we have to reduce the total tonnage of the steel production, but we have to increase the length, width, and the overall square meter of the CO2 issues. Otherwise, there is no point in transporting too much of steel. Imagine that if we produce only 50% of the steel what we are producing today, and we still meet out the requirement of the world, that means the 50% reduction in transportation, trucks, diesel consumptions, the trains, the shipping companies, and many more. I mean, the list can be much bigger, but I'm giving an example. If we cannot do 50%, okay, 70%, 80%, 90%, and okay, 100%. So there should not be any growth at least. Today, the world is producing 1.8 to 1.9 billion ton. We should restrict to 1.8 to 1.9 billion ton for next 10 years time. And we should reduce the thicknesses. We should change the grades, metallurgy, so that we can maintain the same length, width, whatever is required by the world, but we reduce the weight. So that is the time. So the world is working on reduction of weight. So are the car manufacturer people. So the automobile industry, the truck industry, everybody is working how to reduce the weight of the vehicle. And this is where the value engineering comes in picture. There is a often mistake. People speak value engineering and value addition. When we speak value addition, at that time, sometimes the customers, they feel that we are being charged more, but that is not the case. It is a value engineering. So we have to see that how much value engineering we can put into steel making, so that we can reduce the complete the load on the ecosystem. We can reduce CO2, we can reduce the consumption of the fuel. This is one area. The another area is the consume less theory. I have been advocating this consume less theory for the last 2 years. This has picked up a momentum, especially in Europe. And the consume less theory means we must consume less if we can. Why to have extravaganza in house, right from domestic usage to the industrial? How can we reduce the waste? How can we reduce the electricity? How can we reduce the overall energy consumption in the world? This is to be seen. Then the next is coming to the EV, electrical vehicles. I think that's the future. The world is working on this. Whatever new vehicles we are buying, we should try to buy either hybrid vehicles or we should buy only EV, that is electrical vehicles. If we do that, then I think we are going to do a great service to the society, and we can definitely do a better job. Then the next big issue is what is the technology offering in times to come. Today, the blast furnaces and BOF, they are most popular in the world. More than 70% of the steel is being produced through the blast furnace route. And finally, what will happen? We have to bring it down to, by 2047, we should bring it down to zero, BF and BOF route. Finally, it should be electric arc furnaces, and the raw material, or you can say charge, will be the DRI. So the DRI, India, it suits to Indian conditions because we have a lot of iron ore fines. We can convert these iron ore fines into pellets, and finally pellets to DRI. This is where we are working. JSPL in forefront of pelletization. We already have 9 million ton of pellet plant, and another 6 million ton of pellet plant is likely to be commissioned in next 10 to 15 days time, or say latest by 31st of December in this year, 2022. So that will be making our capacity to 15 million ton, largest in the country, under one company. The another 6 million ton plant will be commissioned by March 2024 in Angul. So then our capacity will be 21 million. Finally, we'll be making around 50 million ton of pellets, and all these pellets, what we are now trying to make, that after beneficiating the iron ore, we are going to make all these pellets. So we already have beneficiation plants, some more beneficiation plants we are putting, so that the low grade iron ore, even at the 51, 52% or 57% what we are exporting today, that should be stopped, and we should beneficiate it, and we should produce high grade pellets. Yes, of course, there will be 30% tailings, or you can say wastages that we have to manage, and the tailing ponds and the tailing storage area, Government of India and the state governments, they will have to support us so that we have a right place to dump these tailings, and then finally the forestation can be done over the tailing also. You can plant trees after 2-3 years time, and that works very well. So the CO2 reduction we have to do, and we have to increase our forest levels. We have to consume more and more iron ore fines to produce steel through DRI route, and that is the future. Now the question comes sometime that how the small mills or the mini mills or the induction furnaces, how can they switch over to pellets or DRI? It's very simple, though it's little costly today. We have demonstrated to the world that steel can be produced through DRI route, and DRI can be made through coal gasification. So we are doing the coal gasification in Angul. We produce syn gas, that is synthesis gas, with 58% hydrogen, 28% carbon monoxide, balance is CH4 and nitrogen. And this is going very well. This is doing extremely well. So our cost of production is about 4,000 rupees per ton cheaper than producing sponge iron through the rotary kilns. So this is a great saving. But of course, the initial cost is very high. So what I have been suggesting to various technocrats in the industry, that 3-4 small people, they should get together, they should put up a common gas plant, that is coal gasification plant, and they should put up the minimum 200,000 tons of a smaller size of module, which can produce DRI, and that will change the world. So at least for next 20-25 years, produce coal gas to, or you can say the syn gas, and syngas to DRI and DRI to electric arc furnaces. That should be the route. And if you do this, then we are going to give a great service to the nation in terms of reduction of CO2 as a whole. So this is what JSPL has done. We are going to put 3 more plants in India based on syngas. Two plants are coming in Angul, 2 additional plants, and 1 plant is coming into Raigad. We will phase out all of our rotary kilns based on coal in making DRI or sponge iron in Raigad in the next 3 to 4 years' time. And this is what we should do. Finally, all these plants will be hydrogen-enabled plant. The moment we have the hydrogen, we'll inject hydrogen up to a level about 80-85%. Today we are injecting 58% in syngas. Once it is 85%, then we will reduce the overall CO2 footprint in a bigger way. The day we get the hydrogen over the fence from somebody, some investors, or government of India, companies like NTPC or maybe some other companies. I'm just giving an example, but I'm not asking that they will do it. It's an example. So then, over the fence will definitely change the total economics, and with a lower capex, we can get the hydrogen and the green energy, and we can inject in the DRI furnaces and also partly into blast furnaces till the time the blast furnaces are phased out. So this is the demand of the day, and this is what we should do. And we should try to balance the world. We should try to fulfill the commitment given by our Honorable Prime Minister in Paris Protocol, and we should reduce the carbon footprint as a whole. By 2047, when we are celebrating, we'll be celebrating 100th year of our independence, we should bring it down to a level about 1.5 or 1.2 ton of CO2 per ton of steel making. And finally, when we reach to 2070, it should be net zero. And that is possible. If we start working now, that is possible. And we have to be very open that how to do the value engineering, how to consume, how to implement the consume less theory. Be it food, be it shelter, be it clothing, be it transportation, be it air travel, hotel stay, everything we have to curtail. So Mr. Chandekar ji, you have done a good job. You are now part of consume less theory because you are conducting all of your seminars through digital platform. That means we don't have to travel by air, we don't have to travel, we don't have to take taxi, we don't have to stay in the hotel, we don't have to spend more money on our personal luxuries, and we can still be more productive. And this is what Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister is working after declaring the digital currency. That don't carry money in your wallet. You don't need any wallet. You need only one mobile phone, and you can transfer money, you can use money, you can spend whatever you want to spend. Your money is in your hands, and this is what a great game changer in the Indian history. And I'm thankful to Honorable Prime Minister and his team that they are in line with the world's latest technologies. UPI had been a great success. Even the card service providers, whether it is Visa or MasterCard or any other card or American Express, they started feeling the heat because UPI UPI platform as a whole for the business transactions, money transaction has been proved very, very successful. And once it is digital currency, I'm sure people will stop keeping the money in their pockets. Everybody will be working on digital platform. Yes, if you need some money wherever in the remote areas, if the people are not accepting digital money, you can still take out money and you can utilize it. So whatever you are doing, Chandekar ji, that is in line with the government approach and government thinking. So in nutshell, I will conclude my remarks on 2-3 things. One, we have to consume less. We have to reduce the overall steel production in the world. If not reduced, at least we should maintain. We don't have to reduce the consumption, but we have to reduce the production. Consumption in terms of length, width, thickness, those are to be seen. So lower thickness material, high strength steel, that's the future. In most of the cases, this can replace many of the products. At least 80 to 90% of the products, steel products, can be replaced by high strength steel material. So this is going to be a great job. We also recommended and we also requested Government of India, Ministry of Railway, that we do not need too many freight corridors, dedicated freight corridors, because it takes about 10 years time to build one corridor. So instead of making dedicated freight corridors, if we think on replacing the existing tracks from a normal 880 grade of high tensile lines to 1175 grade high tensile lines or 1080 grade HT lines, railway lines, then the speed today goods trains are running at about 22 to 28 kilometers an hour on an average. This speed can be elevated to 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. So the true success of Gati Shakti slogan given by Honorable Prime Minister can be made successful without installing any dedicated freight corridor in the country. We have more than 80,000 kilometers of railway lines. Out of that, 40,000 or 45,000 kilometer railway line should be converted from low speed or the low tensile lines to high tensile lines, so that the speed can be increased in a bigger way. It can give in 3 times, 300%. Imagine if a railway rake is taking coal or iron ore, transporting from eastern part of the country and going to Tamil Nadu or going to up north in Ludhiana or in Punjab or in Jammu and Kashmir, it takes 4 to 5 days time. And if the speed is 80 kilometers an hour, it can reach much faster than what we are expecting now. Sometimes we see that the rake taking 7 days time. So we have to find out. This will reduce the overall fuel consumption, because we today, to meet out the demand, we need more number of rakes. More than 490 rakes Government of India is now utilizing to transport coal to various. So this can be reduced to half. So the next point is that all of the thermal power plants in future, they should come to the coal pit heads. If we put them onto coal pit heads, then we don't need energy to transport another source of energy. It is easier to transport electricity than transporting coal. The another is, we should think for IGCC route, that is integrated combined cycle, gas-based combined cycle route, convert coal into gas, that is syngas, and syngas to power. So we increase the efficiency. We increase efficiency from 33% to 52%. And each 1% increase in the efficiency reduces 2% of CO2. You can imagine that from 33% today or 30% today, if we reach to 52% tomorrow, it will be 20 or 22% increase in the efficiency. So the better efficiency, the cost of production will be low. And when the cost of production is low and we reduce the total carbon dioxide CO2 load by 44% as against of today's load, imagine it will be a dramatic change in the world. So there's no point transporting coal. We should think transporting electricity through the grid, where the loss is only 3% and increase in efficiency today is going to be 22%. So the net gain is about 19 to 20%, which a common man will get. And I assure you, if you do this as per the calculations we have made, on pan-India basis, we can supply power at 3 rupees per unit. Because the generation cost would be about 1 rupees 80 paisa, 3% will be the losses. This is a rough figure I'm telling you. It is not published anywhere, but this is my calculations. You can do your own calculations. And even if it costs you about 2 rupees, you spend about 20, 30 paisa, 40 paisa on your interest burden or capex burden, and you have to pay. And then 230 or 240, 60 paisa is the profit. You can sell at 3 rupees per unit, one tariff, one nation. One nation, one tariff. 3 rupees, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Gandhidham to Guwahati, 3 rupees per unit. Imagine there will be holistic growth in the entire country. The power intensive industries will be available. You can install power intensive industry anywhere in the country. And that day will be the right day for the nation, when we have one nation, one tariff theory. Whether it is 3 rupees or 4 rupees does not matter. It matters that a person who is paying electricity cost at pit head, if he is paying 4 rupees, in Tamil Nadu also he is paying 4 rupees. In Jammu and Kashmir also he is paying 4 rupees. In Guwahati and Arunachal Pradesh also is paying 4 rupees. That means the competitiveness will not be decided by the cost of power. And we do not need to transport workers from one location to another location and spoiling the ecosystem. In each state, each location, each zone of the country, we can industrialize, and this is where the target should be. And I'm sure Government of India will listen to the request made by me through various conferences and also suggested by me time to time. And someday this will definitely happen. I'm glad to tell you that the Chief Minister of Bihar, Mr. Nitish Kumar, has already started speaking on one tariff, one nation theory, and the consume less theory, one nation, one tariff theory, and value engineered theory, value engineering steel. And these are the three most important factors which we should focus upon. I'm sorry I've taken you a much longer time. This was the very, very interesting subject for me, and you gave me chance to speak here. So I'm thankful to you once again. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. And no way it was a longer speech. It was very, very informative, packed speech of yours and very futuristic. You told us what needs to be done. We need to consume less in terms of the volume, but more in terms of strength. And we have to emit less carbon dioxide. As we know, metallurgical industry and steel industry is the maximum contributor to the global carbon footprint. So we have to work on that area. Well said and well directed, Mr. Sharma. Thank you very much. I have one question. When we say we would like to use more of EVs and hybrids, then what would happen to steel consumption and what would happen to casting consumption? In fact, I would like to this question to Mr. Jain also. So if you use all EVs, then where would we sell our castings?
You see, I tell you one thing, we should not be greedy. When we see the holistic view as a human being in the universe, the entire universe belongs to us. So the business will move from one sector to another sector, but the world will flourish. So yes, you are right. If EV, we don't need an engine. You drive your vehicle with 6 motors. So, but you know, the efficiency increases. And when the efficiency increases, finally, the overall goal to reduce the burden on the climate, that reduces. You see, there are many opportunities in the world. And the steel industry is not only limited to making steel. I mean, the world is open. We can diversify. We can think so many things. The world today, steel production is 1.8 billion ton. I mean, the auto industries, if the castings or some other products, if they go down by 10, 15, 20%, does not matter. The world steel production, I would say it should come down to 1.5 billion ton. We should do the complete value addition, value engineering, not only value addition, value engineering, so that we can reduce the overall steel making from the world. It looks very highly unlikely, and people sometimes they don't digest what I speak. But finally, this is going to happen because there is always a ratio that is called infrastructure to usage ratio. I mean, today, if you see in Europe, the infrastructure is there, but the usage is only hardly about 65%. In America, is only 40%. In China, it's only 30%, or maybe 35%. In India, it is 120 or 130%. In most of the African countries, it is 200%. This Bangladesh, it is 200%. This means these countries, they need more infrastructure. So the steel consumption in these countries will grow. But the countries where the infrastructure is already established and people are not utilizing, there the demand will come down. Like China, I give you an example. If you see the hotels, you see the airports, you see the railway stations, you see the population, the age bracket, their infrastructure today, even if they start, they stop spending on infrastructure today, they don't need anything till 2050. So they can cut down today because by the time the usage, their usage should reach to more than 70%. If you have a bridge on a river, I mean, you cannot have 100 bridges on the river. If you need only 2 bridges on a river, then you need only 2 bridges. So this is where we have to do. And when we have the one tariff, one country philosophy, then the burden on the metro cities in India will be reduced significantly. If you can put the industry on the remote areas and you have the electricity available, you have the people available, most of the labor is coming from Bihar, from Jharkhand, from Chhattisgarh, from Northeast and Bengal and Odisha. If you put the industry in these states, if you put a car industry in Jharkhand, for example, a refrigerator and washing machine industry in Jharkhand, or any other gadgets like white goods appliances industry in Guwahati, because the electricity available at the same price, and the Gati Shakti will take the goods to different part of the country, then you reduce the burden, the industrial burden on Mumbai, on Delhi, Gurgaon, on Noida, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So the industrial load will be reduced. And this is what we need, because we have to also see the CO2 flux. Today, if you see a particular city, the CO2 flux is very high. If you see Delhi is always under climatic issues, especially in the winter season, because the air quality is very bad. So if you move out the industry from NCR, Delhi NCR, you move out the industry to the remote part of Rajasthan, or in the Madhya Pradesh, or in Chhattisgarh, the overall flux of CO2 and the poisonous gases, that will be reduced, and Delhi will become livable. So are Mumbai, so are Chennai, so is Hyderabad, and many more cities.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, AQI of Delhi is very high, very low. I mean, air quality index.
Very poor.
So to say, I think Mr. Jain's throat is also not well. That shows air quality is also not very good. So coming back to the subject, Mr. Jain, what would happen to foundry industry if everybody starts using EVs?
So only the components used in the engines will be replaced. Not for the transmission parts.
Yeah.
So majority of the foundries, or the bigger foundries, make the transmission parts.
Yeah.
And if we have if the opportunity will be shifted from if we go for the EV, then the opportunity will came. So the foundry can invest in the EV components there.
Okay.
Or will explore the export markets or any other new markets.
So you don't expect a downturn of foundry industry even if the EV becomes popular?
No, I don't think so. There will be a slight impact, but in the long term, it will be compensated.
Compensated by some additional business in other areas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mr. Sayan, you were laughing when Mr. Sharma was telling we have to reduce the steel consumption. So what is your take on that? So let us
really thankful to hear that somebody is actually, voicing out this kind of ideas, suggestions, and serious about it. My take was that what would happen to JPC's data? People would start saying JPC was under-reporting and you are now over-reporting and stuff like that if steel consumption goes down. Because, most people go by what is actually there written on the page. They don't deep dive into what is actually going behind the scenario, behind those numbers. So if I say steel consumption was 58 million tons and now due to all these technological changes, it goes down to 28 million tons or 30 million tons, 99% people would say, "Arey JPC ka data to hame ekdam pehle bhi kharab tha, aaj bhi record kharab ho gaya." So but anyways, jokes apart, it's really a serious thing that we need to do.
Yeah.
Because that is what is needed. That is what has been done in the developed countries. You cannot, exist on the same platform over a period of time. And that's what we have been doing. And that's why where we are stuck right now. So those kind of visionary approaches are exactly what is needed, not only for X sector, but also for X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D sectors. So that on a holistic platform, steel consumption is actually reflected in the true sense of what is actually consumed, the value added, value engineering, whatever be the term may be. But then that is what is needed, and that you should be, should be on a holistically basis, not just for a sector that would create much ripple. It should be on a holistical level, so that as a nation, as an industry, we stand to gain. And I'm sure this would have, multiple ripple effects across the ancillary sector and across the value chain, not just only steel. And that is something, when you're introducing a vision, rather it's not just a technological change, it's a vision that we're introducing, and I'm sure other sectors would lap up too. And given the right kind of policy framework or policy support, this is going to take us a long way, believe me. I mean, congratulations, Mr. Sharma. I mean, please go ahead with your vision. I mean, all the best to you. I'm just there. You're again off, Mr. Chandekar.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sayan, on your take on this. One very good concept Mr. Sharma introduces the infrastructure utilization index. Yeah, because if infrastructure utilization index is not beyond 70, there is no use of making the new infrastructure. That is also very correct, Mr. Sharma. So they very, that was also a very good point. So when it exceeds 70, then only there is a need of making new infrastructure development. So anyway, so thank you very much. It was a very absorbing session, and I thank all the dignitaries, Mrs. Sayan Sen from JPC, Mr. Vinit Jain, President of IIF, and Mr. V.R. Sharma for their excellent contribution, excellent speech, and excellent direction. I think the industry will definitely get a new direction. With this kind of interaction and with this kind of thought process. So with that, we come to the end of this session, and I thank all the delegates also and all the dignitaries on the dais for being with us for this inauguration session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, Mr. Jain, Mr. Sayan.